Hello everyone, it's Bubbles, and it has definitely been a while, so sorry. Don't worry though, we are back in the game. I have multiple videos I'm working on, and I promise they'll be coming out soon. That's right, I got another lore video in the works. But besides that, you're probably wondering, where have I been? Well, to be honest, I don't know what happened for the past couple months. Jeez, what happened to that guy? But I do know that last month I was accounted for because this year was my first year of participating in ArtFight. Yes, I know, very exciting. I have known about ArtFight for a while, but I've never actually participated. Mainly because of my crippling fear that I'm going to mainly because of my crippling fear that I will be judged and perceived on my art skills. Because I'm not the best artist, but I have been doing art for pretty much all of my life. But I'm actually really glad I participated this year. I really wanted to make my goal to push myself and my art skills and do more than what I usually do, because I have so many drawings of just sketches and doodles of line art. Line art is like my favorite part of drawing, but it's also the part that I always just stop at, so I guess I can't really say that. But with this art fight, with this art fight, I really wanted to push myself and my art skills because I wanted to improve. I feel like I've been stagnant for a while because I stick to my comfort. And I'm happy that I did. I feel like I improved slightly. I still nitpick myself like crazy, but I persevered because I think, especially because that this is art that I'm making for other people, I definitely was sticking to it a lot better because I probably would have just stopped a long time ago. With all of that being said though, I thought it would be fun to kind of do a little bit of an art video showing the time lapses of some of my favorite art fight pieces that I did. Again, I am not the best artist, but I didn't do that bad, and so I thought maybe other people would kind of want to watch and see how it kind of all came together. So if that's what you want to see, then please join me and listen to me ramble about the different pieces that I did. Let's go! Hello again, it's me, Bubbles. So this art piece was actually the third piece I worked on for ArtFight. I really enjoyed this character design. I did keep the clothes kind of the same to the original reference picture, or at least one of the original reference pictures. But I did add a little bit of my own flair. Like, the hat is a little bit different. I added the apron because, they are in a potion making class, or at least that's what I'm trying to capture. Yeah, I love a good fantastical design, and this was really giving it to me. I mean, they have a raven skull as their head. Mwah, chef's kiss. I love that concept, and I love that idea. That is right up my spooky loving heart alley. So of course I had to draw this character. I don't know what kind of inspired me to put them in this potion making class, but something about the character was giving off those vibes, which is kind of what this scene that I'm working on is supposed to be, of her being in a workshop. Now, I know you may notice that my art process is a bit odd, that I kind of just jump right into it, and that's one of the things that I need to improve on as an artist, because once I get this image in my head, I have a hard time kind of changing it up. I will change a pose and stuff, but the general gist of the idea will stay. But for this one specifically, I mean, even watching back through this time lapse, I was loving this pose, and I was loving the lines and the silhouette that I was creating, so I definitely see why I stuck to it. Here you can see that I kind of just did a very bad basic background. I just kind of wanted to get the general vibe of it, and I also hate doing backgrounds, so I wanted to kind of save the pain of that for later. But yeah, I really enjoyed this art piece. This was such a fun character design, and this was the first art piece of this art fight where I really started kind of to play with different lighting and stuff. Because again, I always just stop at the line art. So this was kind of new territory for me. I mean, I know color theory and I got kind of the basics down, but when it comes to pen to paper practicing it, I'm not the best at it. And I think I also kind of like scare myself out of it because you have to worry about perspective, you have to worry about lighting, you have to worry about shadows, you have to worry about everything all aligning together, and it's why I don't normally do full pieces, but I think this one came out kind of good. So this one was actually my second attack for this art fight. And you'll see that I went through a lot of different iterations and different poses and stuff. I was trying to get this magical, whimsical vibe, and I was having a hard time achieving it. It wasn't until right here where I realized, hey, this is kind of the pose that I want to do. This is giving off the vibes that I want it to, because for this person's OC, it is kind of like a wood spirit, god, mystical deer thing. And I was really entranced by this character and its design. So you'll see that in a lot of my other time lapses, I do this thing where I will do the basic thumbnail sketch off to the side, and then I will actually do my true line art right beside it instead of, doing right on top of it. I find that having the clean slate and doing it beside it when I can just reference the shape, it allows me to feel more comfortable and confident in the shape language that I want to portray, if that makes any sense. For me, it really does help for me to be able to reference it like right beside each other instead of, making a layer invisible, then visible again, or, cleaning the line art right on top of it, because sometimes I feel like that could be just a little bit overwhelming, for me at least. Sometimes my art process change because sometimes I will just do my clean line art right on top of a rough sketch, but in a lot of the ones I did for ArtFight, I definitely did it like this. Plus, I kind of like having the rough thumbnail sketch there kind of as like a punishment. I know that's odd, but it's like, I know you can do better. This is just the blank slate. You got this. I don't know. I just know, like, a lot of the time I'm like, I'll look over at my original thumbnail and I'm like, see, I know you could do better. And I kind of use it as like a punishment and motivation to keep going. So I don't think most people do that. I think that's just a me thing. But yeah, here you can see I wanted to do a bit of a basic background, but I didn't like how plain it was, so I did add a little bit more. After this was done and I sent it over to the ArtFight user whose OC this is, I loved the comparison that they used, that they said it reminds them of a shiny character card, and that just warmed my heart, and I thought that was such a good comparison. Okay, now it's time for this art piece. This one might be my favorite and also my least favorite. Don't say that too loudly around my other art pieces though, they are all loved equally. It's just something about this one. I know it looks a bit lackluster at the moment. Once I start redoing the line art, something about it just really tickles my fancy on how I did it, and I also just really love the concept of this character. This OC is someone's D&D character that they play, and I'm just jealous I haven't thought about this before. This is a tiger warrior-esque D&D character, and I wish I was playing someone like this, and I'm sad that I haven't thought about this before, so this was really such a treat to get into. And again, I feel like I really kind of just locked in a lot on this one. The line art, I think I did a fantastic job. Well, take that with a grain of salt. I think I did a good job. You may not think so, but I thought it was pretty good. But I also was really proud of this one because since I don't do lighting and coloring a lot of the time, when I started doing it, I feel like this might be one of my best jobs. Of course, we're not there yet in the time lapse, but eventually you'll see that I was doing a lot of shading and highlighting, and I thought it looked pretty good. It's not normally a thing that I do, and it's not a thing that I normally do well. So it may not be the best to most people, but I was actually really impressed and making myself a bit proud with the coloring and highlighting job I did for this one. I love this character, but I will say that the one thing that I wish I did better is the background. Ugh. I hate doing backgrounds, but I felt like this one needed it, but I also felt like I just did a really bad background. I didn't really know what to do, and it's kind of a low quality background, but I felt like she needed to be outside, but I felt like I could have done this in such a better way than I did, but hey, you live and you learn. At least I like how the character turned out, and overall, I'm just super happy with this one. It is still one of my favorites, and I look back at it after, now that ArtFight's ended, and I'm like, wow, I think I kind of impressed myself with this one, so. And it's also surprising how much I like this, considering I was very distracted while I was working on this. I was helping my husband build a bed from IKEA that day, and I kept having to stop, and I would work on this in between when he didn't need my help, so hey, I'm pretty proud of this, and I hope you like it. Okay, so this art piece. This was actually the last one that I really worked on. I did like a couple of extra ones after because I got some like last minute attacks. But this was like the last one that I really had planned and that I really like put a lot of time into. Because I did revenge the people that sent me those last minute attacks, but I wasn't able to put as much time and effort as I was like into this one as I was theirs, which I do feel bad about, but I was on a time crunch. But this one, oh man, this one took me a while, and I did have to take a couple breaks and come back to this one a lot because I knew what I wanted this one to look like, but I was scared to execute it because I really wanted to push myself, and I was like, this one is going to have a full background. This is such a cute character. Their name is Mabel, and she's this little mouse that has a cloak. She sometimes wears bows, and she has these very cute sword and dagger. And I was like, yes, this is such a good character. But something about her really inspired me to try and do a full piece, because very, very rarely do I go all out on a piece like I did on this one. But again, this is ArtFight. I'm trying new things. I'm stepping outside of my comfort zone. So that is what I did. I set out to make a fully in-depth, full art piece, and this was the character that got it. And I'm happy that she did. I think the idea of this adventurous mouse in the middle of a dungeon taking a quick rest, yet there's monsters still lurking nearby. Such a fun concept, and it's an idea that I've kind of had for a while, but not specifically for this character. Just, a character lost in a dungeon, a broken down one. I'm really happy how I executed this. Of course, once again, I was so in love with my line art. I think I went a little crazy with the colors. Again, I'm not too sure how to color very properly, so I did the best that I could, and I was a bit happy with a lot of it. And this piece specifically, I learned a lot a lot about coloring and, different lighting, because I think I had like 6 different layers set to like the screen setting for the lighting on Mabel. I just double checked. I actually had 8 layers, because I was trying different things and I was like using different layers to add more like luminescence onto her to make her illuminated. And I think I did a good job all in all in the end. I am not the most happy with it because I am terrible at coloring, and I feel like someone else could have done such a better job with the line art that I had set. But I am happy for me and my skill set, because again, it is a very cute character. I think this is a really fun concept and, a concept that I've thought about for multiple characters for a while. I just have never executed it for myself, and I'm happy that I did learn a lot because of this piece. Because again, it took me weeks to work on this one because I was so scared and I kept having to come back and try different things because I'd get really upset that it wasn't coming out how I wanted it to, and then I would be like, okay, well, how would this look? And sometimes it would work, sometimes it wouldn't, and sometimes I'd just have to step away and wait a couple days, and then I'd come back and I'd be like, oh my god, it was this easy, I should have just done this. But I am pretty satisfied with the end result. During this piece, I also figured out how to do the borderline pen, where, it's the color you select in the middle, but it has like the black outline, which I kind of used for the webs, which was very confusing. I've always been a Paint Tool SAI user, but I recently got an iPad earlier this year, and I know Procreate is the art app. Wait, hold on, I know that Procreate is the main art application that people use when they are on their iPad. I did have a bit of a learning curve because, I'm newer to Procreate. I just started using it this year, and, I've always been a Paint Tool SAI girly, but now I've been also learning how to do Clip Studio Paint. So I've been learning a lot of new things, and my brain is just kind of tired, and it's like, please stop making me absorb all this knowledge. And I'm like, no, we need this knowledge so we can be better. But yeah, I'm very happy with how this piece came out, and I don't know if it's my favorite, but it's up there. Because there are things that I definitely would change, kind of like some of the angles that I did. I messed up on certain parts, kind of like the little torch handle on the wall. But overall, I am really happy with how this came out. I know I could have done better on the lighting and the shadows, but again, I am still kind of new at doing it, because I just don't color. But hey, we live and we learn. But now, on to the finale piece. Ah, Nightingale. This is one of my favorite pieces that I have worked on. If you go and check out my ArtFight profile after this video because you want to follow me, or you want to check out all the other pieces that I did, then I will put a link down below, but you will find that this one is not on there. And that is because this was more of a gifting piece that I did for a friend. She is a very close friend of mine, and she unfortunately did not make it in time to set up her ArtFight profile for this year. And one, I like drawing ponies. Yes, I draw ponies! It's what I like to do! And two, I really wanted to do a little art piece for her, and so I thought maybe I could sneak this little piece in because it's my video. I'll do what I want. And it's still in the spirit of ArtFight. I'm still gifting a piece to someone. It's just that this was not posted onto the ArtFight website, but it was still done within the same month of ArtFight. So kiss my butt, I'm gonna put this in the video. But yes, this is a My Little Pony OC that I made for my friend. She has never, I guess, made an OC before. I constantly probably annoy her asking her questions and, talking about My Little Pony and, about her OC and stuff. And this was the time. I was finally going to make this piece for her because I have been plotting on making this piece for a while. And boom, it's finally done. And turns out it is one of my favorite pieces I've ever made. Some of my favorite elements that I added to this piece are the braids in her hair. She is a nurse, which is also why I gave her OC the name Nightingale, but I was trying to replicate the shape of the snakes wrapping together around like the staff of Hermes, which was kind of what I was going for with the braids. I know it doesn't really give off that impression, but if you know that, then you can kind of look at it and be like, oh yeah, I see that. And I also really loved how I did the little ballet ribbon accessories. I did not do a fancy background for this because, again, this was just kind of like a little piece that I was gifting, and I didn't feel like it really needed a background since the attention is supposed to be on the OC. Whew, wow, that was a lot to get through. If you've made it to the end of the video, thank you so much for staying and listening to me ramble. Overall, I think ArtFight is a wonderful event, and I think it's great for artists that are going through art block or are just having a bit of a slump. I myself go through months at a time where I won't create anything, and then I will burn myself out trying to just make one piece perfect. This really helped me kind of get out of that because even though it has ended, I am still finding myself picking up the pen and I'm drawing a lot more than I used to, and I'm feeling better with my creations. I definitely have seen an improvement because of ArtFight and because I was sticking around, so definitely would recommend it. I know that it can be a bit scary. That is one of the main reasons why I haven't done it, because I was so scared of how people were gonna take my art, and I just pushed through, and I'm really happy that I did. It's kind of scary getting out of your comfort zone, but if you are thinking about doing ArtFight and maybe you're scared or you're just like, well, I'm in a bit of an art block, just do it anyways. It's surprisingly really helpful to get you out of that type of rut. Plus, you'll have pushed through your art block and pushed through your fears. Again, if you have made it this far, thank you so much for joining me. Team Mystery for life! Okay, all right. Yes, I know we probably lost, but I don't care. You guys don't understand mystery like I do. I'm going now. Bye. Bye.